It should be no secret by now that one-tricking a champion is the best way to climb the ranked ladder the fastest. By one-tricking a champion, you're able to focus more on the macro aspects of League that actually make you a more well-rounded player, instead of constantly using your brain power to try and optimize champion combos or mechanics. So in today's video, we're going to be setting you guys up with 3 champions for each role that are very rewarding one-trick champions. We made sure not to select any champions that have a ban rate above 10% or are likely to be nerfed in the coming patches. For example, Lilia and Misfortune are both super high win rate champions with extremely high ban rates as well, so it's likely they end up getting nerfed in the coming patches, which wouldn't feel the best if you chose them as your one trick. The champions we select in this video are still very strong champions for solo queue, but none of them run the risk of getting nerfed anytime soon, and all of them are highly accessible for you to spam due to their low ban rates. Also, we're excited to announce we've done a massive update, adding all brand new courses for Season 14 on our website, SkillCapped.com. And if that's not enough, we upload 10 new Smurf commentaries every week where a challenger teaches you how to play every champion in the exact rank you're stuck in. The best part? You can try all this out completely risk-free. If you don't rank up while actively using SkillCapped, you get your money back, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below to get the rank you've always wanted in Season 14. One of the absolute best champions in the game that you can one-trick as a top laner is Kled. No matter the meta, Kled always remains a very solid top lane pick, is never banned a ton, yet has so much skill expression that makes mastering him very worthwhile. At the time of making this video, Kled's ban rate is below 1%, and it's stayed there for the past few patches. It's Kled's very unique kit that makes him more difficult to pick up, but extremely devastating in the hands of a one-trick. There's a very fine line you have to walk with Kled in order to get the most out of him, since his passive provides him with incredible dueling strength. With most champions, you've just got your normal health bar that you have to track, but with Kled, he has his mounted and dismounted health bar that makes his outplay potential absolutely insane. Just getting used to both of Kled's mounted and dismounted forms will take you a lot of time to learn, but that's why one-tricking him is such a great idea. The standard build for Kled in Season 14 is a Titanic Hydra Rush into Sundered Sky 2nd and Sterix Gauge 3rd. You can run a lethality setup as well though, which is what a lot of the high elo Kled one tricks are leaning more towards. Run Conqueror for the Keystone Rune with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand, followed by Demolish and Second Wind for secondaries. Our second one trick selection for top lane is another champion with a bunch of skill expression built into her kit, being Aurelia. Most champions in this video have ban rates well below 10%, but Aurelia was one that just barely made the cut with a ban rate of 9%. The outplay potential you have with Aurelia due to her ability to acquire multiple Q resets makes her extremely rewarding to master. Aurelia's E is a spell that will take a lot of trial and error at first, but when you really get it down, the instant catch power becomes really nuts. Being able to close a ton of ground very quickly by getting Q resets on minions, and then following up with a stun from E gives Aurelia some of the best snowball power for any champion in the game. Players may think they're sitting far enough back in lane, but Aurelia can close distance in such a short period of time that it makes punishing enemies' positional errors super easy once you master the champion. The build you should be running on Aurelia revolves around a Blade of the Ruined King Rush into Sundered Sky 2nd and Wit's End Orth Shield Bow 3rd. Take Conqueror for the Keystone Rune with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand. Biscuits and Cosmic Insight are for secondaries. Rounding out the top 3 is another champion with a ton of playmaking potential, as we have Camille. Camille just got some pretty nice buffs in patch 14.2, and despite being a pretty weak champ to start Season 14, those buffs have put her back in a really good spot. Ban rate of Camille is sitting just under 2%, so you should have no issue spamming the champion. Camille is one of those champions that if you can acquire an early advantage, snowballing from then on out is incredibly easy. The long range from Camille E gives her some of the best catch power for any top lane champion. This makes learning your matchups inside and out and being able to smash lanes super rewarding with Camille. Something quite unique about Camille is that she runs Ignite with Teleport for her summoner spell combination. Getting used to this may take a bit of time, but having that Ignite opens up for many more solo kill angles in lane. The build for Camille is a Trinity Force Rush into Ravenous Hydra 2nd and Sundered Sky 3rd. Roll with Grasp for the Keystone Rune, followed by Shield Bash, Bone Plating, and Unflinching. Magical Footwear and Biscuits are the best secondaries. Moving on to our jungle top 3 now. First up is going to be Bel'Veth. The high mobility and incredible skirmish strength makes Bel'Veth a super strong solo queue champion, but her skill floor is relatively high, which makes one-tricking her a great idea. The ban rate of Bel'Veth fluctuates quite a bit depending on rank, but an average for all ranks puts it at 5% right now. Ban rate of Bel'Veth in Diamond and below is always much lower as well, so she is more accessible to the average player. Getting to the point where you really understand your limits on Bel'Veth makes her a very scary champion. The damage reduction from Bel'Veth E allows her to turn so many situations that may seem losing into huge wins for her team. Knowing how long you can hold on to your E for and really baiting the enemy team into you can sway fights extremely hard. A build that has been picking up traction over the past patch is a Kraken Slayer Rush into Stridebreaker 2nd and Terminus 3rd. Bel'Veth E gives you 9 stacks of Terminus, so the value of the item on Bel'Veth is insanely high. Rune page you should be running consists of Conqueror with Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Pick up Freeboots and Cosmic Insight for secondaries. Throughout most of Season 13, Viego had a super high ban rate, which made him much harder to one-trick, but Season 14 is completely different. Viego is no longer seen as that get pick or ban jungler, so his ban rate has fallen to the lowest it's ever been at just 1%. At the same time though, he's hovering around 50% win rate right now, so by no means is he a weak solo queue champion. The more time to put into Viego, the more you're going to get out, as the skill expression of the champ is actually quite high. The fact you have to know how to play every single champion in the game to get the most out of him speaks volumes. Of course, this is due to Viego's passive, to where when he kills a target, he's able to possess them and play as that character. Optimally, playing around Viego's passive can make him one of the most broken champions in the game, but it will take you time to get a grasp of it. The best build for Viego in Season 14 is a Kraken Slayer Rush into Trinity Force 2nd and Sundered Sky 3rd. Take Conqueror for the Keystone Rune with Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Freeboots and Cosmic Insight are the best secondaries. Locking down the third and final spot for jungle, and one of the best junglers in the hands of a one-trick, is Graves. Graves, being a champion who's solely reliant on dealing damage to be effective, makes him very feast or famine for the average player. That being said, if you can one-trick Graves, you can begin to tip the scales and feast in a vast majority of your games. Graves' ban rate does fluctuate quite a bit right now depending on rank, but it's only really high in Diamond and above, as he's got an average ban rate of 7%. The mobility and consistent damage output of Graves makes his solo carry power incredibly high if you have him mastered. With a couple items, you can even start one-shotting squishy targets, and Graves becomes more like an assassin, which gives him so much versatility. To really fast-track your success on Graves, our Master in Minutes course is the perfect solution, as we have a bunch of champion courses on the website, and we'll have lots more going up throughout Season 14. The best 2-item core for Graves this season consists of a Ghostblade Rush into the Collector 2nd. Third item really depends on the game, as there are a ton of options. Rune Page for Graves is Fleet Footwork with Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace, followed by Freeboots and Cosmic Insight for secondaries. For the first time in a long time, mid lane Echo actually has a higher win rate than jungle Echo, and he's the perfect one-trick mid laner for Season 14. Echo's ban rate is as low as it will probably ever be, sitting at just 3%. The most difficult part about Echo mid is learning how to manage his weaker first few levels. A lot of melee mids like Fizz, Akali, Sylas, and Yone can easily outtrade you at level 3, which makes learning these matchups and knowing your limits very important. Oftentimes in lane with Echo, it's more about just not giving up anything than actually scoring a kill yourself. Stacking farm and then scaling into your 2-item spike is how you'll make a consistent impact in your games. Speaking of the 2-item spike, it's actually changed as of patch 14.2, with Rocket Belt no longer being prioritized as a core item. Lichbane Rush into Nashor's Tooth 2nd is taking over on Echo, and it's mostly due to Lichbane becoming way stronger in Season 14. You just have so much upfront burst from this 2-item core, and even though not having the active from Rocket Belt is a bit of a shame, the trade-off is well worth it. Hail of Blades and Electrocute are viable Keystone Runes right now for Echo, so give both a try and see which one you prefer. One of the most disgustingly broken mid lane champions in the hands of a one-trick is Uxin. The lane bully potential coupled with the roam strength of Uxin makes him the prototypical solo queue stomper. Ban rate is sitting at just 4% right now, so he's a very accessible champ. The skill expression that comes from Uxin's E is really what makes him insanely rewarding to one trick. There's so many different angles in which you can approach plays based on which wall you'll want to use your E on, which takes a ton of time to learn. Optimal E usage with Uxin is something that really takes the champion to a whole nother level and makes him look insanely OP. The build you want to be running on Uxin is Voltaic Cyclo Sword Rush into Storm Racer 2nd and Rapid Fire Cannon 3rd. Press the attack is the Keystone Rune with Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Bone Plating and Overgrowth are for secondaries. The best AD assassin mid laner that you can one-trick for Season 14 is Qiyana. Qiyana is extremely powerful with the new Season 14 lethality items. However, nobody's banning her right now, as she has a ban rate of just 1%. When you master Qiyana, there really is no counterplay for an enemy squishy against her one-shot combo. If you get ahead, you basically get to choose one champion that you're going to one-shot in every fight, and there's nothing they can do to stop you. Unlike other AD assassins like Talon and Zed, Qiyana actually has much better teamfight impact due to her ultimate. Getting used to using Qiyana R around Baron and Dragon Pits and landing those multi-man Rs can single-handedly win you games. There are a few viable builds going around for Qiyana right now, so try them out and see what you prefer. Ghostblade into Opportunity is the most popular 2-item core right now, and it offers a crazy amount of mobility, which makes finding catch plays that much more easy. Profane Hydra with Hubris is another great 2-item core that doesn't provide as much mobility, but the pure one-shot power is higher. The optimal rune page for Qiyana is Electrocute with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, and Treasure Hunter. Run Presence of Mind and Last Stand for secondaries. An ADC who always seems to be strong for solo queue but never gets very much attention is Nilah. This makes Nilah such a great champion to one-trick for a multitude of reasons. First off, her ban rate is low at only 4%, so you'll be able to play Nilah nearly every single game. Secondly, because Nilah is not played all that often, it gives you such an edge up if you can master her. Every enemy ADC you go up against will not have a ton of experience playing the Nilah matchup, which will in turn lead to many trade windows that you can take advantage of. Especially when you hit level 6, Nilah's all-in power is incredibly strong, but if the enemy is not played against against Neela very much, it's likely they'll disrespect your skirmish power and you can end up winning 2v2s super easily. The general ability for you to make plays on your own is also much higher with Neela compared to most other ADCs, so when you really master her, the solo carry power is amazing. Build for Neela consists of the Collector Rush into Quick Blade 2nd and Immortal Shield Bow 3rd, roll with Conqueror for the Keystone Rune, followed by Triumph, Bloodline, and Last Stand. Sudden Impact and Treasure Hunter are the way to go for secondaries. Vayne has been one of the better ADCs to one-trick for a while now, and that statement continues to hold true for Season 14. The thing about Vayne right now is that she can be so versatile with her builds, which allows you to pivot based on the enemy comp super well. At the same time though, this versatility makes it a lot more difficult to really master Vayne, as learning both of her unique builds will take some time. It's not like it's just a one-item swap with the builds either. There's literally one-shot Vayne and consistent damage Vayne. The consistent DPS build that works best into bruisers or tanks is a Blade of the Rune King Rush into Rage Blade 2nd and Terminus 3rd. On the flip side, you've got the extremely powerful burst build of Stormrazor, Essence Reaver, and Voltaic Cyclosword, which works amazing into squishies. Unique builds aside, Vayne in general is a more mechanically demanding ADC, because all of her worth comes from dealing damage. You have no utility like Ashe, Jhin, or Sivir, so you've got to be able to kite and maneuver around in teamfights precisely in order to get the most out of Vayne. For all these reasons, Vayne's a great champ to dedicate time towards, as once you master her, the raw solo carry strength is nuts. Rune page for Vayne consists of Lethal Tempo with Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace, Grab Conditioning, and Overgrowth for secondaries. One of the best ADCs that you can choose to one-trick for Season 14 is Jinx. Jinx is in a spot right now to where she's not overly powerful, but she's not weak at all either, which means it's very unlikely she'll be hit with a nerf anytime soon. Jinx has the lowest ban rate for any champion in this video, at only 0.4%, so unless the enemy team picks her, you'll be able to play Jinx every single game. Once you can master Jinx's team fight, there are few ADCs with as much late game impact as her. It's being able to walk that fine line of knowing when you should be more aggressive, looking for that passive proc, or when you should sit back and be more patient that really separates Jinx players. Getting that first passive proc in a team fight can allow you to completely take over, which makes Jinx insanely rewarding if you know your limits. And the best way for you to learn your limits the fastest is by one-tricking her. Build for Jinx to start Season 14 is a Kraken Slayer Rush into Infinity Edge 2nd and Rapid Fire Cannon 3rd. Lethal Tempo is the Keystone Rune with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Cut Down. Run Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm for secondaries. This support is always a great one-trick champion, but he's even better for Season 14 as we have Bard kicking off the top 3 for support. Bard has a ban rate of just 2% while being one of the top tier supports right now, which is really nice. You got so much playmaking potential with Bard, which makes him one of the best solo queue supports if piloted well. Bard's R and Q have so much skill expression that even if you've spammed a ton of games, truly mastering the champion is so difficult to actually achieve. You can get pretty close though, and if you reach that point, there are few supports who are more impactful than an experienced Bard. The new support upgrades have given Bard even more carry strength for Season 14, as it turns out Bloodsong is a really great option for Bard. Bloodsong just makes it so that whenever you find a pick with Bard Q, the follow-up damage output will be really strong. The two core items for Bard in Season 14 consist of Frozen Heart and Cainic Rookern. Imperial Mandate slots in really nicely as the third pickup if you're able to get there. Guardian is the Keystone Rune with Font of Life, Bone Plating, and Unflinching. Run Zombie Ward and Relentless Hunter for secondaries. Carrying from the support role will never be easier if you begin one-tricking Zyra. Zyra is one of the few supports that relies a lot less on her ADC to be useful in order to win games. This is because the damage output of Zyra at level 6 is incredibly high, which allows you to find catch plays on your own and burst out squishy targets. Zyra is currently banned in around 8% of games, so just below that 10% cutoff. With the item rework for Season 14, Zyra has become even stronger as her 2-item core of Liandry's and Rylai's is now more durable. Losing the mana from Liandry's in exchange for health has actually been net positive for Zyra. One of Zyra's main weaknesses is the fact that she's a relatively squishy champion, but now that Liandry's provides health, your margin for error is higher in Season 14. The best support upgrade for Zyra is really a no-brainer, as Zazak's Realm Spike is the way to go. The core build you should be playing towards for every single game is Liandry's Rush into Rylai's 2nd. As for the rune pages, Comet with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch, Taste of Blood, and Relentless Hunter are the optimal secondaries. One of the best melee engaged supports that you can one-trick for Season 14 is Leona. In regards to melee engaged champions, right now we've got Maokai, who's just absurdly broken and is likely to be nerfed soon, but Leona follows right in behind as a better one-trick alternative. We don't see it being very likely for Leona to receive nerfs in the coming patches, while her ban rate is just 4%, so one-tricking her is a great play. The long-range catch potential and chain CC lockdown that Leona's kit provides makes her insanely strong if you know what you're doing. You can keep an enemy locked down for multiple seconds, which allows you to single out that fed carry and eliminate them from the game. To learn more about Leona, our challenger player Hector has a brand new commentary for her on our website, and we upload 10 new commentaries every week. For For Leona's support upgrade, Solstice Slay is currently outperforming Celestial Opposition. Solstice just synergizes really well with how Leona wants to play, looking for those hard engages. Core item for Leona consists of Rushing Locket and going into Zeke's Convergence second. Aftershock is the Keystone rune with Font of Life, Bone Plating, and Unflinching. Roll with Biscuits and Cosmic Insight for secondaries. And remember, if you truly want to improve and rank up fast, head on over to SkillCapped.com. We just finished a massive update adding all brand new courses for Season 14. We even upload 10 new Smurf commentaries each week where a challenger teaches you how to play every champion in the exact rank you're stuck in. And remember, you can try all this out risk-free. If you don't rank up while actively using SkillCapped, you get your money back, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below to get the rank you've always wanted this season. So that's gonna wrap everything up for our Season 14 update on the best one-trick champions. Thanks so much for watching, good luck with your rank climbs, and we'll see you back soon.